Here we are with another episode of the Lost Context podcast, and I want to give a quick reminder that this show is now available on Stitcher, which is pretty convenient for those who is hosting the show today. It's Tim Demeuse, or was it Tom Demeuse? I can't keep track anymore. To the point, this episode is one big ADHD mess, and it's wondering who our guests are? Wonder no further. It's Jordan Wray, the Irishman, and actually wonder a little further, because the second guest is a secret, and my telling you would ruin this. Surprisingly, despite this episode being so ADHD, it actually has some good stuff in it, so I hope you enjoy. And now we drop you without context into the Lost. I'm gonna go make something to eat.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now that we're all here, we're going to start the Lost Context podcast. My name is Brandon Breakfast, and I'm pleased to introduce you to this week's guest, Mr. Jordan Wray, coming all the way from Ireland, Idaho. Jordan Wray, would you like to introduce yourself?
I don't think I can match that introduction, to be quite honest. So I'll just let it slide on to the next guy for now.
I think you already matched it quite well.
It was quite the introduction.
All right. And next we have Wesley Sullivan.
Howdy, howdy.
Chris Riley.
Present.
All right. So anyway.
So remember in school there'd always be like, they're taking roll. Everybody would say here. Then there'd be that one douchebag that would say present. And you just wanted to kick the shit out of him.
I've never been that guy to say present. And introducing everyone's favorite jokester, Mr. Tom Demeuse. Tom, would you say a couple words for us?
Hey, what's up, everybody? I like to smoke weed and fuck the police, am I right?
Yeah, definitely, ladies and gentlemen, definitely. Anywho, so we just wanted to start off the podcast talking about some important news that came out this weekend. I stubbed my toe. Also this weekend, you'd be remiss if you didn't notice that, God damn it, I can't do this anymore. Holy fuck.
Yeah, you kept it on for a while, dude.
And listen, Jordan, you gotta lay off yours too. It's coming on a little thick. It's too strong.
Yeah.
That accent is just completely fake and obvious.
Well, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's what I thought. That's what I sound like full time. I'll have you know.
Jordan, can you do an American accent?
Oh, I think the American accent is wonderful.
That's perfect. Do that for the rest of the show.
And for the rest of your life.
I'll do my best for you, Brian.
That's actually really good. That's way better than my Irish accent.
The most notable thing about his American accent is the enthusiasm.
I imagine his eyebrows go up really high when he does it.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing like a
One
car
question.
salesman, if that makes sense.
Do they have Lucky Charms cereal over there? I have to know.
There are specific shops that advertise it as like an American sweet shop, if that makes sense. So they have like
Yeah.
all your types of Hershey bars and stuff like that there.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, but they're more like a specialty stoner item.
Mm.
The leprechaun censored.
Not yet, but soon.
Cultural appropriation.
Somebody from Clan McGregor is pissed over this.
Now listen, just to make things fair, I think we should all do an Irish accent.
What?
That sounds like a good idea.
Well, we made him do ours. We should do his. It's only
Well, I
fair.
have done his directly to him, no, man. I've done that more than enough. We did an entire character of that. I'm cool.
Did a whole family.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, like, if you would like to, Brian, please, by all means, feel free. But otherwise, we were going to talk about E3 for a while over here.
Okay, you can talk about E3.
What's E3?
E3 is
Is that a serious
eggs,
question? Hold on.
exercise, and eczema.
It's kind of like 4-H.
Oh, okay. So it's like an after-school thing? Or
Yeah.
Pick up litter off the highway.
Yeah.
Kind of, except for it's a bunch of rednecks and they have sex with their cousins. Anyway. Dude, so I was not, like, work was not very busy this Sunday, so I decided that I would watch the opening press conference of E3. And it has been a long time since I've actually been excited for some of the direction that video games are going into. Because, like, it seems to me like for a while there, we had gotten to an era where everybody was doing the same thing, just with better graphics, you know, a fresh coat of paint, so to speak, kind of a thing. And yeah, some great stories would come out here or there, but realistically, without that story, what is The Last of Us that, you know, Metal Gear Solid or other, you know, stealth or cover-based shooters or things like that haven't already done, you know? And I'm really kind of excited, and I was curious to get some of your guys' thoughts if you've been paying attention to anything that's been announced or watched any of the conferences or anything like that.
I haven't watched anything, but I saw some stuff that was pretty interesting come across my feed. Elder Scrolls, what is it, 6 now? So it basically Skyrim 2. It's going to be coming out soon, like I think 1 or 2 years from now. And that kind of tickles my fancy.
I didn't watch that particular event, but I was watching Colin's kind of his review on it. And one of the things he mentioned is that he was confused that they announced that and another game as a new release because they're so far out there, and he thought it was a content filler. Because I think he mentioned that they talked about it as if they were going to be next gen, so it won't be until like another console.
I don't even think that it was content filler. Like, I think that they threw that in there because they knew that people were going to bitch at them for another fucking year if they didn't do it. Like, if you watch the trailer that they released for Elder Scrolls 6, it's fucking nothing. Like, it's literally just some, like, Elder Scrolls type music and panning over a vista. That's it.
Yeah, they get no points for that, in my opinion, personally. Same with, what was it, Starfield?
Yeah, Starfield was fucking anticlimactic as shit.
That was,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember the name, but that was the other one Colin listed as sounding like it was just something they threw in there because they needed some new content, but it's way out there in the future.
I mean, like, I don't see the point, though.
So I really hope that Starfield is just a sci-fi version of Garfield.
Gosh.
It's quite a unique twist. Go ahead, Wes.
Oh, I was just going to say, I really haven't been following E3 or any of that, but I am looking forward to finding out what new titles will be announced and hopefully soon in the future released for Switch. That's really my only point of interest for now.
Well, that'll be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow Nintendo does their... Because they don't actually participate in E3. They do their own thing. I don't know. They call it a treehouse or something. Maybe it's a direct. I forget. They have so many different dumbass names for the way they do shit, but it's quirky and it's good, so I get it. Whatever.
Will it be a live event or just a broadcast? Like...
It's got a mix of both pre-recorded live events with like Reggie and stuff doing trailers for the games, and then they also have the introduction sometimes, I think.
Oh, bring out the kamikaze pilots for the finale.
At the time that we're recording this podcast, we've had Electronic Arts, and then Microsoft's, which is Xbox, and then Bethesda, and then Square Enix. Have there been any others I'm missing? Do you remember?
Did you say Bethesda?
Yeah, what?
Bethesda? You even live on the fucking West Coast, dude.
All I know is, like Wesley, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for the announcement of Mormon Simulator 2018.
Ah, nice. So does that include the angry mob?
Try not to have another Glock pulled on you.
Oh. Or is that DLC?
The angry mob is definitely DLC because it's a niche crowd. You got to get as much money out of them as possible.
It's SLC.
Nice.
No.
Oh, that was good.
Did you mention Square Enix there? Because they had a conference too, unless I missed.
Yeah, I threw it in at the end, but everybody was worried about my dyslexia.
Nice.
Squeenix's conference was alright.
Speaking of dyslexia, that's one of Square Enix's next new games.
Have you guys ever heard of that company? They're called Squaw Renix. Squaw Renix. They make some pretty famous Japanese games.
This episode is brought to you by Squaw Renix.
Squire Unix.
We should just let Brian try and read things for the rest of the show, and we'll make fun of him for it. That could probably get us through 30 minutes before the next guest shows up, right?
Wait,
Have they aired the Sony panel yet?
you were serious? We really do have another one coming?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, I have a secret guest coming, and it's Wesley's Bishop.
Hammer! That's awesome.
Make sure you ask him not to hurt us when he shows up. No? All right.
I really hope that he sounds like a wrestler from the late 1980s.
Oh, man. I can't believe I made an MC Hammer joke and nobody got it.
Oh,
Please, Hammer, don't hurt us.
okay.
But we're all white.
Well, yeah, that's especially why you should get it, Wesley. Black people don't like MC Hammer. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I was going to say something about it, but I didn't want to touch it.
Hey!
Okay,
Too legit. To quit.
let's get back to 3E.
No, fuck you, Brian. This is my show.
It's your
Why are you
topic,
trying
too.
to host? I know. We're doing other things now. I've hijacked. This is my podcast now, Brian. We are doing what...
Oh, there you go, Jordan.
Are you doing Bane? That was awful.
Let me tell you something here, Wesley. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want.
This is gonna be
It's absolute chaos.
this is gonna be the most ADHD podcast episode we've ever had.
Oh yeah, dude. That's why I invited Jordan in here, because he actually wants to talk about stuff, and so I figure he can try and help carry it.
Mostly to do with E3 though is the issue.
Oh, so if I jump away from that, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Now that okay, well,
right.
if that's the case, we could go back to it.
Right. Okay. What do you guys think of the issue of Microsoft having almost exclusively just multi-platform games being presented? Do you think that's an issue to win E3, that you have to have exclusives?
I mean, it depends on what the exclusives are, man. Like, honestly, I think at this point, if we go over to Sony and we see another CG trailer for Death Stranding, we're gonna get an in-depth look at Spider-Man. Okay, cool. I don't see any like groundbreaking announcements that are gonna happen over there. We're gonna look into Days Gone.
Just the big four, which is Ghost of Tsushima, which I may be missing that pronunciation. On last.
We lost
Am
him.
I the only one that lost him?
No, I lost him as well.
We lost
Oh,
him.
okay.
Can you hear me now?
So in the 1800s, it was the potato famine, and now it's the Wi-Fi famine over in Ireland.
Do we know if he's from Ulster or from those IRA bastards? Do we know?
So Wesley has been messaging me because he really legitimately thinks that I might be getting his bishop on the podcast.
Or I don't know, I don't know what kind of scheme.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Good. I have no idea what happened. I just moved around a bit.
Yeah, are you from Northern Ireland or from Ireland?
I'm from the north.
Oh, you're an Ulsterman. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm very close to Belfast. I'm like maybe five miles out from the centre.
Don't worry about knowing how to pronounce Ghost of Tsushima, because my brother's working on that game, and I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Well, you did better with that than you did Bethsaida.
What's this brought her that you're talking about? What's a brought her? I've never heard of one.
What's Eric doing here? Eric, what the hell?
Oh, man, are we going to have to go back to banning everybody again?
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm muting him.
That never seems to work anytime that you try and mute people, though, Brian. Like, you mute Michael all the time, and he just talks, and then it comes through, and all of us can hear it.
I don't know.
So back to the ADHD, which means back to the exclusives that we were talking about. So has Sony done their panel yet?
No.
No, that'll be tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
No, it's in an hour.
Or tonight. Oh, it's going on right now. Okay.
Oh, okay. So, like, From has been teasing Bloodborne 2, haven't they? Shouldn't that be a Sony exclusive since Bloodborne was Sony exclusive?
Well, here's the thing, though, is everybody thought that Bloodborne 2 might have been the what was that? Yeah, that was the Sekiro thing.
Shadows Die Twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So everybody was just wrong. It was wishful thinking.
It is possible that we might get a Demon's Souls remaster because Sony, the company that remade the Shadow of the Colossus for the PS4, announced that they were doing a huge remake that everybody would care about or something. So we might hear something about what they're doing.
Okay.
Some people think it's Demon's Souls being remastered, which I would be very much for.
I mean, the remaster that everybody's been really hoping for, of course, is Corey in the House.
That's my favorite anime.
Which one is that about? Is that the one where Sinbad gets elected president?
I was startled to see a Battletoads game.
Battletoads?
Yeah.
Cool.
During the Xbox presentation.
Oh, you know what I heard that's in video game news? So the next Dead or Alive game, they're getting rid of the boob bounce.
What?
Yep.
What else is there in that game?
That's it.
So they're not making the game?
Yeah,
well, wait, are they going to keep in the upskirts, though? Because if they're still upskirts, then we're good.
I don't know. Like, the article that I read was specifically about being more respectful to women and getting rid of the boob bounce.
Are you being serious?
I'm deadly serious, yeah. Or I'm alive.
Shit. That doesn't even, like, that's all their game was their physics engine.
Uh-huh.
It is so
I
weird.
didn't even realize they were still making Dead or Alive games.
Yeah, the last one I played was like 2.
Fair. No, I think the games that I'm most excited about that I saw on the I think that I might finally be starting to come around on this shared world online type of story mode game, like, you know, your Divisions and your Destinies and things like that, because, like, the Division 2 actually looked good, whereas the first one looked like shit, and I did not want to play that.
I think they've started to get the formula down for the, having how many people in a specific area, whereas it used to be about how many people you can fit in with MMOs and stuff like that.
Right, and I don't care about how many people I can play with, because I don't have that many friends.
Yeah,
And
that's why I was happy that Fallout 76 was actually supposed to be only a couple of dozen people to the whole map. So you'll only ever, I'm guessing, rarely run into another player whenever you're just playing casually.
Oh, okay. Well,
I could be mistaken, but whenever Todd said that it would only be a couple of dozen people, and if the map's 4 times the size of Fallout 4's map, then it's going to be pretty rare to run into somebody, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how. It's going to depend on how the resources are spread out and things like that, because, like, if there's lots and lots of stuff to do over every square inch of that map, then yeah, you probably won't run into a whole lot of people because you won't have to run far and wide to find stuff. But if it's designed like a lot of those games are, there's probably going to be a centralized area where... That was just weird because Chris jumped off at the same time that... What is going on with everybody's internet today?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Mine's fine. I actually just hit the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
I think me going out earlier, I actually might have accidentally pulled it out of the back of the computer by mistake, the headphone. So I think my internet's good though.
Yeah, I was just trying to mute myself so I could go get a drink.
I think the biggest thing that I want to talk about is Xbox announcing that they bought 5 new studios.
Yeah, especially Ninja Theory, who did the DMC remake, and what was that one recently?
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah, I haven't actually played it, but I've heard good things.
I liked it. It was one of those things where I could have done without the weird puzzle things. It was, I don't know if you didn't play it, so you wouldn't know, but the story was really good. The graphics were superb. I'm interested to see what they can do with, a couple of $1 million behind them as opposed to having to, barely keep their doors open.
Yeah, I think did you play the DMC reboot, the old one that happened?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they did pretty well with that, to be honest. And it was pretty high, I think, or I would assume it was pretty high budget.
Yeah, no, that was a fun game. But what I'm getting at is I want to see them take a brand new IP and, release it AAA for Xbox, because one of the things that I feel like Xbox is sorely missing is they have a bunch of arcadey kind of smaller games that people can kind of jump in and out of and stuff like that, and all of their games are, I feel like there's something about having that beautiful sort of like
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, franchise that looks really good, and just judging by the graphics that they were able to get with Hellblade, that's something that would really be an eye drawer or very captivating, I guess.
Especially since they'll have Microsoft technology at the helm. They can do it on the Xbox One / only the new console they're coming out with / they announced.
What are you guys talking about? They have Halo. What more do they need?
What did you guys think of the Halo trailer? Because a lot of people said it was just as empty as the Elder Scrolls one and Starfield even. But I don't really agree. I thought it showed a fair amount, and I'm not even a fan of the Halo series. I've only played 1 and 2.
I disagree vehemently with that. Like, you can't say that 2-minute long trailer that actually shows you some things, not a lot, but way more than just panning from the planet up to a satellite or panning across a vista, which is literally what both of those trailers were. One went from the planet up to a satellite, that's Starfield. The other one was orchestrated music, some mountains, Elder Scrolls 6. You can't tell me that those two things are equivalent, because they're not. Like, the Halo Infinite trailer it wasn't good. It's not what I wanted. Like, if you're gonna tell me about Halo, I want to see gameplay.
Yeah.
There needs to be gameplay. That's the only thing about Halo that I care about.
Yeah.
I'm just happy it's coming to PC because I don't own an Xbox.
I've never played a Crackdown game, but all I could think about Crackdown was Old Spice the game.
I can see that. That game is dead on arrival, man. There's no fucking way.
It belongs to a previous era. It would have been a great game on the 360, but I don't think games like that do well this generation.
Nah, dude. I don't understand why they're even putting the extra time on it. They should have just put it out to die in fall this year. I mean, honestly, though.
You played Sea of Thieves for a while. Did you have any thoughts on the new Sea of Thieves trailer?
Sea of Thieves is, again, that's kind of my point on what is wrong with Xbox right now, is that it's little games that are fun to jump in and out of, but playing Sea of Thieves for more than an hour a week is way too much.
I see.
And that is the biggest issue with Sea of Thieves, is that it's a fun game for really short spurts, and that is not what Xbox needed.
Yeah.
I tell you what I like about Sea of Thieves. Like, I don't own this game, I've just seen YouTube videos of it, but something about when they were swimming in the water and then pulled out their accordion and started playing a song. That was pretty cool.
Did you see the new pirate game that Ubisoft are doing? Skull and Bones?
I didn't get a chance to catch the whole trailer. No, I didn't watch a lot of the Ubisoft thing. I caught some of Odyssey, which I was excited about.
Ubisoft.
What? I'm not allowed to do it now? What the fuck, Brian?
Well, what I said was Boobysoft.
Boobies.
Brian's a fucking cootie soft.
It was funny to me that they put emphasis on Forza Horizon 4, and they showed all these cars driving around, and they were like, you can change seasons, and you're in this world with other people. And when you break it down, that's all they offered in that. And other than that, it's just racing game.
Right.
Well, the racing games look so real now. They don't even really need to cut a trailer. They could just show clips from actual races and just pretend that it's in-game footage.
It's true.
See, though, those games are actually the only ones that are really keeping Xbox afloat. Like, those are their biggest sellers, are Forza and Forza fucking Horizon.
That blows my mind because everybody I talk to is not into racing games. So where are they?
I know,
who are
right?
They?
Like,
are they closet?
That's the thing that I'm
Are they
wondering,
hiding in the closet?
But dude, there's a reason that, there's 7 of these games. People fucking love them. I don't know who, but somebody apparently, they got to be selling these millions of copies to somebody.
Or else it's a ton of grandmas buying them for their grandkids.
Gran Turismo sells well on the PS4 as well.
And that's another game that I'm sure most people are like, what the fuck?
Yep.
So my guest just messaged me that they ate an edible brownie.
Oh my god.
So I feel as though the Bishop Hammer is fucking
hammered.
ready and raring. We're probably going to get him in about T-minus 15 here.
Surprised he's into edibles. You'd think he'd be a drinker. Then he'd get hammered.
Boo!
Classic Brian joke.
Well, the problem with edibles is it's probably not even going to kick in until after he's done with the show.
You never know, man. Depends on how strong that edible is.
So in these game or in these studios that Microsoft bought, do you know how developed they were? How many games they'd put out and stuff?
So basically one of them is brand new and just being created, and so that's the next gen one. Whatever they're making is going to be next gen.
Okay.
That's the initiative. And then Ninja Theory, they're the ones that just put out Hellblade, and they just finished up with all the ports. I guarantee you that this deal got done sometime in early this year or something like that, or maybe late last year.
Okay.
And they're probably just starting to storyboard some stuff. I would guess the majority of this stuff is going to be for the next Xbox. I think that Xbox is trying to convince people, hey, once we've dropped some shit, just so y'all know, we're actually ready to have some games to come along with it. We're not just going to fucking do what we did last time,
right,
where we release some games and then we cancel a fuckload of them.
Anything to give us a better presentation than last time.
Right. Well, and actually, I don't know if any of you guys caught that, but if the next Xbox is what it sounded like Phil was saying it is, I'm super fucking in. A cloud-based computing structure that you would be able to run off of any device. So basically, you would be able to play Xbox on your phone.
It's streaming. The Sony bought us, they've actually been theorizing about doing that for a while, but it's not actually using the cloud to compute the data. It's just, as far as I'm aware, it's just sending you a streamed version of so it's basically just streaming you a video that you can interact with, and they do the processing at home. So they have their own server that's in the processing for the games, and then they send you a video feed that you can basically interact with.
Interesting.
How are they going to deal with the lag?
I'm not too sure. Sony a while ago bought a company called Gaikai, just whenever the PS4 was launching, and they spent, I think, $400 million on it. And I'm not too sure if much has came from it, because I don't actually own a PS4 either.
Well, if they were going to be having it on mobile and stuff, then they've got to have ways to just crank everything down automatically.
You can play PS4 games on a Sony TV with good Wi-Fi if you have a subscription to Not too sure what the service name is, but you can do the live streaming right now, where you don't even have to have a PS4 to play on your TV. You just have to have a Sony
PlayStation
TV.
Now, yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, the problem is, though, is if your Wi-Fi isn't basically the best that you can possibly have, good fucking luck.
Yeah, you need a wired connection, preferably.
And a good wired connection. Like, it's got to be top-notch, like...
What is top-notch over there? Is it not different state by state?
It definitely differs state by state. Like here, I would say around here, top notch would be like, a gig.
For Wesley, it's like a meg.
Yeah. It's awful here.
Yeah. Is that your whole state, or would that just be rural areas in your state?
I'd say the majority of the state, besides the one large city in the state, and that's just because they're moving new tech companies in there, and so I think a few of the suburbs have Google Fiber up there. It's the capital city of the state of Utah, but the majority of the state, the internet is awful.
Okay, I've got 100 gigs where I am.
Gavel, 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 gavel. Ba-da-dun, dun, dun, ba-dun, dun. Ba-da-dun, dun, blah. We would like to welcome you guys to the court of public opinion. Our next guest, Mr. Tony Calvin, would like to bring a grievance against Mr. Brian Breakfast. Tony Calvin, your grievance.
I haven't talked to Tony in forever. What else does he have against me?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You sound so white. Oh my lord.
I apologize for speaking English.
Jordan sounds blacker than you.
Yes. I've always
You
wanted
guys
to do
keep
that.
in mind, Salt Lake City, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
You were the guy in Target that bumped into Wesley's cart.
That was his brother.
No, do you guys know this is my first time on the podcast because Brian?
We're still
Aw.
going to need to turn him up more.
No.
I'm sorry, what was that you cut out?
First time on the podcast because Brian wouldn't let me on.
It's not true.
It's very true. He said, your black ass is never coming on my podcast.
What?
That part is true.
What's going on, fuckers?
You see how Tony actually showed up for me, Brian?
See, he's talking about how I'm so discriminatory, but I think he's the one that's discriminatory.
He doesn't like bald people?
That's right.
Other bald people, I should say.
I spent my entire, from 21 to 32 completely bald.
No wonder you don't like us.
No, I am a bald aficionado.
Tony was born into this life that you've just joined, Brian.
I'm culturally appropriating him.
His Google history corroborates it.
He's bald in, bald out.
Yeah, Brian's got great fucking hair, man. Like he's just doing this stuff. Brian is right now wearing prescription hairstyle, or a fake prescription hairstyle.
Oh, that's a bald cap?
Yeah, you see the people with the fake prescription glasses just doing it to look smart. Brian's got great fucking hair, man. He's just shaving it just to fucking look trendy.
How's that working out for you? Have you become king of the incels yet, Brian?
I've got a lot of gay people chasing me.
Oh, have the tables have turned since the 1970s.
Oh, man.
Dude, it's the.
He's cutting out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Or he's just
Yeah.
fucking with us in supreme fashion.
His edibles are kicking in.
No, listen,
You started
seriously,
to-
can you guys...
You've started to sound a lot more black as it's continued to me.
Yeah, so it's gonna get real ratchet in here.
So I was getting a blowjob from a robot the other day.
I totally think he's Wayne's Worlding us right now.
He's going through a tunnel and eventually he's just going to sign off.
I'm here, fuckfaces.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. We were talking about E3. Have you been following any games at all?
No, so I just barely started getting caught up on E3 earlier. I like Cyberpunk.
We hadn't talked about that yet.
I thought Cyberpunk looked really trendy. Looks like it'll be hot.
Yeah, they nailed the aesthetic. Looks
They
great.
nailed it.
I haven't really been following it because I just think that it's like sounds too good to be true. If it is what they've said that it's going to be.
Honestly, man, like if it just does what The Witcher did, but with a futuristic spin on it, I'll be happy. But the thing that I'm worried about is going to be the combat. Because, like, in The Witcher, it was fine, but definitely not, it's not up to snuff with, say, like a From Software game or, like, have you ever played Kingdoms of Amalur or, just some of your action RPGs that The Witcher didn't quite live up to until they got some patches in. And I worry that now they're moving on to gunplay. And look at what happened with Fallout when Bethesda decided that they were going to move on from Oblivion to try and do something with guns. And the gunplay was atrocious in Fallout 3. Like, awful. And that is my biggest worry, is that this studio that has solely only done medieval fantasy is now going to start trying to do all of these crazy, rocket launchers and machine guns and pistols and stuff. And unless it ends up being some sort of a weird turn-based system, it might be wonky.
So do you know if the studio has changed up their staff at all? I mean, are they bringing in anyone that would know a little bit more about this, or are they going to make it their completely own unique thing?
So here's the funniest thing about fucking CD Projekt Red. So they are
Tim.
What up?
Second.
Wesley, you sound so fucking cute and adorable, bro.
I mean, I'm new to the gaming world. I really just got into it last year, so.
I'm not talking about gaming, dude. I'm talking about your voice. If I get you out here, you're going to be my little cuddle bunny.
Tony, no. Oh my hell.
Wesley, you would be very popular in prison.
I'm soft.
I want to say something about that. Over the weekend, my whole family came over, and so my brother-in-law and my brother and I we were just playing video games late at night, and we popped in. We
were just having a bunch of prison sex.
Well, you're not far off. we decided to try out A Way Out, and if you don't know, it's basically Prison Break video game, and so. The opening scene is these guys riding in their car, the truck going to prison, and so you're two different people. It's a co-op game. One guy's up in the prison wall, with all of his mates and stuff, and they're saying, fresh fish. This dude's coming in on the truck. They march him into the thing, and then it's split screen. So his side of the story is he goes and he has to get the hose, and so they're washing him down, and it's just like butt in your face, and so we thought it was a cutscene, so we're just kind of waiting for this to end. And we're all three of us dudes are just sitting there looking at this dude's bare ass, like for
EA and chill, am I right? EA and chill.
3 to 5 minutes, just like, when is this gonna end? And like suddenly I started walking around and I realized I could go into a new area and I had story on my end to complete. And they were like, it's like you're holding us up. You're making us watch this naked man get hosed.
Oh.
So that was the awkward moment.
Is Shawshank Redemption? I hope.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay. I'm absolutely the guy that is beaten to death on the first night. When Andy gets there to prison, and the guy dies. That's me. I would
That
not
is definitely
survive.
not you, Wesley. You are the guy that gets to live to a ripe old age getting raped every evening.
Yeah, you'll be protected, man. You'll be so protected.
Oh yeah, Wesley.
Be the whore in there. Oh, that's worse.
Oh no, you'd be a one-man dude. Unless your dude gets shanked.
Okay.
And then you get a new dude.
Then you
It
get a
would
new
be
dude.
monogamous at least.
Usually the guy who
Yes,
shanked
sir.
your previous dude.
Yes, and he'll let you know his name is Carl and he loves you very much.
Honestly, if
My
you think
hell.
about it, prison's got a pretty good system. I go kill your husband, I get the wife. Like, sounds pretty. That's how it should be.
Like the old days. The good old
I
days.
mean, maybe not like all the old days, because then I wouldn't be on the podcast. It's fucking.
Yeah, dude, I'm
6
gonna
p.m.
kill the shit out of Blake Lively.
It's 6 p.m. here on the West Coast, man. They'd be like, "Okay, you're halfway into your workday."
And you all know that I'm gonna go kill Greg Miller.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If that became law, I'd be like, put an APB out on Greg.
The only reason that Tony is doing it, though, is so that he can take Genevieve before you can, Brian. So then he would be your final boss that you have to reach in order to attain your goal.
He already tried to do that with Sam from the Gromp.
Wait, Brian, say her name. Say her name.
I don't know how to say it. Sam.
It's Genevieve. Good lord.
Good
American.
lord.
Oh, say that name.
You know what, Hercules Mulligan? Nobody asked you.
Alex is here. Get him out before he pisses on something.
Ah, shit.
I invited Alex, thank you very much. We need a good urination on stream.
On stream.
The minority episode.
Look at the quotas that I'm hitting. I've got the palest of the pale. I've got, a shade darker than white people. I've got a Jewish guy.
This
I've
is
got-
like a fucking United Nations.
And a guy from the
Right.
IRA.
And a guy from the IR. Well, I was saying he was the guy that's whiter than white.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were talking
You
about
haven't
Tony.
seen me with my shirt off.
I thought you meant Wesley.
I thought we went Wesley.
Wesley is our lesbian.
Oh. okay.
Definitely.
Hmm.
There are worse things to be than a lesbian. So you're in good shape, Wes.
It's true. I could still be with Jennifer if I was a lesbian. So, with that.
I thought you told me that Jennifer was really big into Mormon ideals. Wouldn't she leave you because of your sinful nature?
Well, I'd have to change her. I'd have to.
You'd
make
have to
her
convert
want
her
me.
and make her a lesbian as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wesley,
Dude, we're talking about Wesley here. There's no converting. That's all drugs, man.
Wesley, you should be a gay guy and then let her convert you.
What?
What?
Well,
Wait.
LDS is fine
what
with,
is he-
with gay men, or
So-
gay dudes,
so-
because you get more men.
When you say be a gay dude, like, how serious are we making this?
I'm just saying, then she's virtuous instead of becoming the son of a bitch.
He's gonna dip out right after this too. You know it.
Oh my god.
As soon as he joined, like this whole time that he's been with us, he's been trying to like force it out. He's like, I can't go under pressure.
I'd just like to say, I'm going to leave, but if any of you would like to check out the AI podcast,
All right, get him out of here. I'm bet. Server mute.
The AI Pisscast, ladies and gentlemen. So you remember when we thought we didn't have to ban people from the channel once they were a guest?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hooray.
All I know is so far, anybody who listens to this episode tonight that isn't ADAD is gonna fucking, their head is just gonna explode.
We're all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
This episode of the Lost Context podcast is brought to you by Thought Detectors. The smoke alarm that lets you know when there's a hottie in the house trying to steal your virginity and give you all the STIs. Don't get caught literally with your pants down. Put a thought detector in every room of your house because you never know where they might get in. Thought detectors, keep your house pure.
This fall, in a land that has been forgotten, Lost Context Podcast will be going to Antarctica. Lost Context Podcast Antarctica. In a world where they explored too far, we explored too far. Where they went where it's too cold. Man, it's frigid here. Antarctica. Brought to you by Tim Demeuse.
Here in my garage, just bought this 1992 Ford Taurus here. Fun to drive up here in Moses Lake, Washington. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Anime. In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new video shelves that I had to get installed to hold the 2,000 new Blu-ray and DVDs that I bought. It's like the billionaire Warren Buffett says, the more you watch, the more you tingle in your crotch. Now maybe you've seen my TEDx talk where I talk about how I watch a movie a day. But you know, I watch a movie a day not to show off, it's again about the anime. In fact, the real reason that I keep this Ford Taurus here is that it's a reminder that dreams are still possible. Because it wasn't that long ago that I was just downtown near the highway sleeping under a bridge with only a knife and a Pope Popes t-shirt in my backpack. I didn't have a college degree, I had no opportunities, but you know what? Something happened that changed my life. I bumped into a dumpster that had a waifu pillow, and she makes my pee-pee hard. Anyway, now back to the show.
So what's your favorite cartoon from the 90s on Nickelodeon?
Dude, is SpongeBob 90s?
I mean, late 90s, but yeah, that would count.
Okay, what's earlier 90s?
I would think like Rocco's Modern Life.
Is Beetlejuice on Nickelodeon? What was Beetlejuice on?
Rocco's Modern Life was dope.
Did you guys have Ren and Stimpy? I would imagine
Of
you would.
course, we definitely.
Yes.
Of course.
Ren and Stimpy was ahead of its time.
Beetlejuice was my favorite cartoon.
I don't think I've ever seen Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I don't think we had Beetlejuice.
It was nothing like the movie though. Like they made
was
Beetlejuice
nothing
into
like
kind
the
of a
movie.
good character rather than the, antagonist of the whole movie.
Was the soundtrack still all Harry Belafonte?
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Well, that's lame. Because I think that's pretty much the only part that I identified with Beetlejuice, other than Michael Keaton. Every other aspect of that movie is meh. I don't know.
What about Courage?
Courage the Cowardly Dog was a good ass show.
That was
Yeah,
Cartoon Network, wasn't it?
Yep.
It sure was.
It was great.
He was obnoxious. I couldn't get through an episode.
Really?
Yeah, he's always screaming.
Well, I mean, the one thing that we do know about Brian is that he doesn't like anything that's good. So
He also pronounces it Courage.
Did you just say you weren't allowed to watch Courage?
We weren't allowed to
Courage.
watch a lot of cartoons when I was a kid, so I would have to cite my favorite as Rugrats, simply because that's the one I always wanted to watch that I was never allowed to watch.
I've always felt bad for kids like you.
I didn't
Oh,
watch.
dude, he got plenty of Veggie Tales. It was fine.
What's that one with the bison where they learn about the Bible?
We used to have these kids that would have to be asleep by 7:30 in their house.
Yeah.
Like in bed, dude. Could you imagine that? In bed, 7:30 every night?
Awful.
Brian's like, that's kind of fucking late.
And then you grow up and you become a parent and you're like, good Lord, I wish I could go to bed at 7:30 at fucking night.
Oh, I know, right? When you take your kids outside for the entire fucking day, all you do is run around the park and shit, and you're like, yeah, they're gonna be ready to go to bed super early, and it's 9:30, and they're like, let's watch a movie.
That's fucking life.
like today. So my mother-in-law signed my son up for golf lessons.
Nice.
And I didn't think for a million years that a 7-year-old was going to enjoy learning how to golf. But apparently my 7-year-old is weird as fuck because he enjoys it. So
it's great.
No, because he's not thinking about like the boring aspect. He's thinking of the fact that he gets to take this stick and try to hit it into a ball that goes into a little cup. Like that's right up a boy's alley.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think the injury rate in golf is really high, actually. I know it's a weird statistic, but I think I heard it recently. It wasn't
now, as I was listening to you say that, I realized I would never hear this conversation in a black podcast.
No.
What do you mean?
Like in a black podcast, never would you hear, my mother-in-law went and signed up my 7-year-old son for golf. Black podcast, you hear shit like, yeah, my mother-in-law had my 7-year-old son out there picking weeds all day long in the hot ass sun. She gave him a hot dog for lunch. Like that's kind of shit. Like,
if I was gonna think about what a black guy podcast might be like, all I would hear would be like, "We want big booty bitches, big booty bitches."
I'm surprised my microphone didn't pick up the cringe on my face when he started to speak that shit. It's just one of those, like, I don't know where he's going, but I know it ain't good.
I was just thinking, please don't say the N-word. Please don't say the N-word.
We all know that that's just a matter of time.
Tony, would you like to say the N-word on our show?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, that does count as an N-word.
Niggas.
Jordan, you shouldn't say
All right,
that.
and the podcast is now done. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Lost Contact Podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, boy.
Oh, fuck, man. So did anybody else bring any topics?
So listen, let me explain it to you guys. So it's the fact that even with so there's a big difference. Like a lot of people will say, you know, what's the difference between saying it with an ER or just an A? Like, first of all, that's dumb as fuck. Like, there's a huge fucking difference. And then a lot of times, even the white folks that will say it with just the A at the end, it will, how do I say? They'll say nigga like it's its own sentence. They'll be like, hey, what's going on, nigga? You know what I mean?
That's
and
funny.
instead, you just want to be like, hey, nigga, what's going on, man? What y'all doing? Yeah. Like some folk like Wesley, he'll be like, hey, nigga.
Oh, if I could only count the times that he's done that. Oof.
In the pre and post recordings, just Wesley left and right. Just that hip hop lingo, them damn kids, fucking millennials, I tell you.
Hey, could you guys imagine how fucking funny that would be to like see like a hidden camera in Wesley's kitchen and like he's talking to his family and he's like, hey, you niggas tripping, y'all ain't gonna talk to me that way.
Y'all got me fucked up.
Wesley looks at his niece and him like, bitch, how many eggs did you pick today? You got my shit right. Wesley out there laying it down on the farm, man. Hey, that's how he broke his foot. He put it way up a bitch's ass, man. The bitches was tripping.
He's broken another bone, too.
He asked for a sandwich, and she asked
I don't
what
think we
kind,
got-
and he just put his foot right up her ass.
I don't think we actually got that on the air last time. Wesley actually broke his arm recently.
Yeah.
It was just a fracture, but
Oh yeah, you were breaking a new bull, weren't you? Eric Pena. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Pena can tell you that he now knows how wild bulls are broken in. And Wesley, our Wesley, he has been injured by a bull while trying to break him and tame him.
Wesley forgot to put the brass knuckles on. He went bare knuckle.
So we're going to take a moment
that
of silence.
sounds like some of the most manliest shit I've heard all day.
Listen, don't let his voice fool you.
Hey, like, what if that was like a big plot twist and like you seen a prison movie and like I was Wesley's bitch?
Oh.
Plot twist.
That's how I'd imagine it anyway.
I feel like
that just sounds...
You motherfuckers, I'm the one that runs this. I don't know. What do they call them? Yards?
That would be the literal quote. I'm the one that runs this. Wait a minute. What do you call it?
Excuse me, I'm a bit confused on the vernacular. What would you call this setting that we're currently in? I have a couple of human heads under my bed, mind you.
Wesley's just telling everybody, I run the grassy area.
With the round ball by the rings.
My favorite quote from last week's episode was when Wesley was like, you know, you're not in with the black guy until he calls you my man. He just says my man, and then he was like, wait, don't they say that? Isn't that what they say?
Oh my god. I've got to start paying attention to that now. Like I don't want to see some random white guy and be like, my man, and he's like, oh my god, this is it.
Getting called up to the big leagues.
I walk up to Wesley and I see him for the first time, and I'm like, my man, and Wesley's like, nigga.
What's up, my nigga?
All right, that's it. I'm out of here.
See ya, man.
Risque, Brian, risque.
Oh shit! Do you have to poop now? Is that what's going on here, Alex?
Guess I better. Oh, there he goes.
Oh man,
this is fucking chaos. Anybody want to unblock KJ while we're at it?
No.
Unblock KJ? Okay.
Oh well, speaking of that, you spent some time with KJ this weekend, didn't you?
I went and so he and fucking Caleb came to the Pabst Theater to see fucking something about lizards and wizards or something. I don't fucking know. Some weird ass named band that I'm sure only Caleb has ever heard of, and KJ, because that's just, you know, their thing. But anyway, so I went and made them eat cheese curds, and they actually liked them because they're not ungrateful fucking bastards like some people. And that was basically it. Like, we just went to a fucking burger joint near the airport, and I ate a burger, and then I left and went home.
How were they?
Talked about the upcoming E3 conference. The burgers were delicious. But that's because I picked the restaurant. Also, fucking Caleb, you wouldn't imagine this by his weird potato-like picture and stuff, but he's like just as tall as I am.
Which Caleb we're talking about?
That Caleb Wallace kid that was doing the meme tournament for a while and then quit after Tara banned him a couple of times.
Man, what was that, 6'3", 6'4"?
He's 6'3"-ish.
Wow.
But yeah, I was just surprised because I kind of figured him for a doughy little edgelord. Which, shout out KJ.
What's KJ like in person?
Actually, he's a lot less intense in person.
He's pretty
Like
intense on
Wait a minute. You mean to say that his online persona is more exaggerated than he is in real life?
No, that's
That's
not what I'm
impossible.
trying to say, Chris. I refuse to confirm or deny that. But yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. My favorite comment though was when I sent the picture and Wesley said, "I thought he was smearing a bagel."
He really should be, though. I mean, wants to be proud of his heritage.
I mean, we all had a good laugh about that, for sure. But yeah, no, that's basically it. It wasn't...
Wait, you told him my comment?
Well, of course I did. Come on, Wesley.
How do you not?
That reminds me of comments. So, Wesley, you constantly have questions about black people, and I brought you a black person to just ask the questions to.
But, I mean, he grew up in Utah. Like, how much
No.
can he do?
It's a real black person.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Are you kidding me right now? So you travel. Something that you do more traveling than just like tourist places. Like when you visit or live in like different areas, when you visit like a different city or something, and like stay at a friend's house or something like that, you notice that people generally live the same kind of lives no matter where they go. Now, I didn't have a traditional hood growing up. I grew up on the side of Salt Lake where the minorities tend to congregate. But like
West Side, right?
Yeah,
but like, I mean, on the west side.
Where they
But
gather.
like, we all had like houses and like yards and shit. Like, there was no, like, none of those apartment complexes where the cops are afraid to go down. You know, nothing like that. But I mean, whether I grew up in Memphis or whether I grew up in Salt Lake City or New York, like, I still grew up in a black family. You know what I mean?
To be fair, I'm sure the cops were still scared to go down into your neighborhood.
There's a sliding scale. They don't have to be at, a full 10, but
Yeah, like if they came into my neighborhood, the guns aren't cocked yet.
right.
Yeah.
And assuming this whole Drake thing is blown over, he's got his black Facebook group.
Dude, that guy.
Wait, what happened with Drake?
He started a rap battle with a 40-year-old
with
nigga
Pusha
that still
T.
wears
Yeah.
braids. And like, so, I mean, once again, this is one of those things to where no matter where you grew up, you still grew up in the same kind of community. Everybody knows you don't start shit with a grown nigga over 40 that still wears braids in his hair, because that nigga generally just don't give a fuck about a lot of shit.
Is this an official segment? Should I start the Going Deeper with Wesley theme song?
I feel like you should, yes.
Okay.
This is definitely an official segment. Because now I just realized that braids are the mohawk to white people. Because after a certain age, if you're a white person and you're still wearing a mohawk, you only have a certain amount of fucks to give.
Yeah.
Because you never look cool with one.
Like that, like you don't
Well,
give
he's
a
fucking
fuck about a lot of
ridiculous.
shit.
Right, like jobs, fucking how people look or judge you, and yeah, man, like, wow, I just made an incredible discovery.
Yeah. Once again, no matter like whether it's a white community, black community, we're all living the same life, man. You motherfuckers just get advantages, sons of bitches.
So I think that right now would be the perfect
Oh, no
time.
one wanted to take the bait.
Well,
I still can't believe how close Alex came to hearing Brian say nigga. Like, he came right after and then he disappeared again.
He's heard me say it.
trust me, he's heard it before.
The thing I love about the N-word is that, and white people not being allowed to say it, is that it takes me back to the olden days of when you first, your friends first, I say your friends because I obviously didn't, but your friends first start cussing, like when they're, 16 or 14 or whatever, and they don't know how to do it well, and they always
Or
get this...
like 7 or 8,
Wow.
like normal kids.
Yeah, dude, we were I remember we were in like 5th grade trying to outdo each other.
I tried to be realistic, so I brought the age way down, and I still wasn't low enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
no.
the Kevin Hart bit about the first time he cussed his teacher out.
Yeah, that's fucking...
There's like a guilty, awkward silence after every cuss word, and they almost get this look about them the first time they ever do it.
I caught my daughter cussing the other day. She didn't realize it.
Wow.
What'd she say?
My daughter was talking to one of her toys, and she thought she was in the room by herself. And she's like, "I'll kick your ass if you don't listen to me." And I was like, "What'd you say?" "Huh? I was singing a song, Dad."
So you're like, "Oh, okay. Continue."
Like, that's what she always says, man. Like, she'll be like, "Yeah, I'll beat you up, Dad." I'm like, "What'd you say?" "Oh, I was just singing a song." "Bitch, ain't no song called I'll Beat You Up, Dad."
I thought that was by Harry Chapin.
Wesley, fire off a question.
Going deeper
Going deeper.
with Wesley Sullivan.
Wesley. Oh, Wesley. Oh, Wesley.
Going deeper with Wesley Sullivan.
Okay, so, like, there are lots of memes about black women wearing a wig. Is that really that
Okay.
common, or no?
Okay, so let me ask you this. So you see a lot of memes about it. Out of 100%, you'd say the memes make it seem like it's about all the time, right?
No, I'd say like 25% of the time.
Okay, what do you think the number is realistic?
Realistically, maybe like
110%.
like 1 in 8. I don't know.
Okay, so
So
we're going on
it's-
percentages here, and then you're gonna bust out a fucking fraction.
I don't know.
What the hell is that?
So,
So
realistically, I'd say it's much closer to
100%.
it's anywhere from 45 to 65.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, about 45 to 65.
So but
it's-
it's 100% of the people who wear the wigs are the ones who get in fights on video.
Yeah. So then, and then that's
So it's like squares and rectangles.
Hold on.
Not all squares are rectangles, but all rectangles are squares.
Hold on. Give me 1 moment, guys. Give me one
I think
moment.
you got that backwards, Tim.
I did for sure.
Bethsaida.
I think he's Googling something so he can be factual.
That's the only reason I've stayed in the Milwaukee group that Tim added me to, because there's such great fight videos in that group.
I had to leave that group. That was a little too risque for my feed. I've got to be honest. Too much.
It's a fucking shit show, dude. It is the fucking craziest group that I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm a big fan of just saying, like, dumb shit on a regular basis and just seeing what people come back at me with.
I didn't know there were that many black people in Wisconsin. Like,
They're not all
just kept
from
going.
Wisconsin, dude. Like, it's just people that happen to end up in this group. I don't think
oh,
that... I think that there's more people in the group than live in Milwaukee, Wesley.
I'm like, wow, Detroit always gets, that reputation, but they all went to Wisconsin.
Well, no, here's what happened. It's like, so Tim is from Wisconsin. He joined the group, and then he, subbed it out to where now, like, 10 of his friends are also in the group that are not from Wisconsin. And so, like, you could probably take the group's total and then divide that by, 10, maybe even more, to see how many people are actually from there.
Right? Because I immediately added you and Brian, and I added a bunch of people to that group that I thought could use some bullshit on their feed.
I want to know how black groups compare to other black groups. Are they pretty much the same?
Say that again.
Yeah, all black groups are the same, Brian.
Well,
Oh Lord, no, there's not.
I'm talking about based on their region. Like, is a Milwaukee black group going to be way different than a black group from California?
No. Black groups are sorted into. There's the roast group. Those ones are brutal. There's the thirst groups. We've got groups kind of like CLC. There's a black meme group. But hold on. Small complaint. The black meme group usually has no problem using out of focus pictures.
Ugh.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Like, I like my memes to be like nice and fresh, and like they'll use some shit that was shot with like a fucking potato.
Hashtag the struggle.
Okay, so let's go over this wig thing. So you have to understand it's not all just wigs. There's full wigs, then some of them will just comb their own hair into like a ponytail, and then they'll add a ponytail. Or then, you know, you have your weave to where it'll be their hair with some synthetic or real hair mixed into it. So that's why, and honestly, when you counter everything, that number might even shoot up to like 75%.
Wow.
Like a lot of what you guys see and think it's probably real, it's not.
Wesley just busted Elder Owen Wilson there.
Wow. 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 Wow.
So I wonder if they use that same thing. White girls are like, the guys are like, it's frustrating when you see a girl that's so beautiful and then she takes off her makeup and she just loses her whole face and she's like, what, you think I actually look like this with makeup on? I wonder if black ladies say that about their extensions.
Oh no, Lord, no. It's just generally accepted. They always say, no, this is mine, because whether they grew it or paid for it, it's theirs. So they're like, nah, this is mine. And I'm like, all right, you bald-headed bitch.
Little alopecia ass.
So here's a rather risque question. Do black women wear their fake hair to bed? Because if you thought you were signing up for a full head of hair and then she takes off her weave, like, I don't know.
So once again, what do you mean to bed? So there's two different to beds. Like, is she just getting in the bed and going to sleep? Then probably not. But then, like, is she trying to get all freaky deaky? It's like, for some reason she thinks, I don't know, she's a bald-headed bitch, but like, so she'll keep her shit on.
Yes, for sex.
For sexual purposes. I'm allowed to discuss that now because I'm married.
Do they?
The other question.
You know, we Mormons, we like to have the Dr. Pepper before we have the sex. Do you black people like to have? I believe they call it the purple drank.
No. We like to take the shower.
That's smart.
And also after the poop.
Yeah. Also, dude, must after the poop. Like, that trips me out, man. Like, white folks, y'all will wake up in the morning and like go about your day. You'll go get your workout after work, and then like you guys go home and like you start having relations and shit. I'm like, you nasty motherfuckers.
No, so my routine is I wake up, I shit, and then I shower. And that's a good start to the day. Because
that's a great start to the day.
My routine is I wake up, I shit, I drag my ass across the carpet.
So back to the wig thing briefly.
Okay.
Do they see it like
back to the brief thing, Wiggly?
Do they think that is it trying to fit in with the rest of society to have straight, hair, or is it just cosmetic? Is there more to it?
No, it's not. So, how do I say this? The general sense is just doing it to look fly. Like, if it doesn't matter if it's some white girl shit, it doesn't matter. Some girls, they and honestly, like, most black really don't white people because it.
And we lost him again.
He's gone.
Yep.
Damn! But I
get it though. They found something that they liked and they went with it. And they went with it 110%.
Like a lot of black folks
God,
Like a lot of
why
black
are you
folks.
doing this?
Okay, here we go. I got it.
I
So a
like
lot
how
of
we
black
are going to
folks,
be
they-
able to do Mad Libs with Tony's little segments here later on. Finish Tony's sentence. A lot of black folks, blank.
Nah, but like a lot of black girls, they don't like white girl hair because like it's not really like y'all got some crazy shit. So because like a lot of the hair they use is from like India, like like that.
Oh.
So it's not trying to fit in. They're just trying to look fly.
Are you into long nails on women?
Nah, man.
Because there's some black ladies in the Milwaukee group that's got some long ass nails.
Yeah, like that. Like I mean, it doesn't sound that good hygienically. Like, how are you properly wiping your ass with those long ass nails? Like, picking up a lot of shit residue.
You can really get up in there to clean it out.
I'm a big fan
Like-
of watching people try and do stuff when they have those long ass nails. Like, hey, can you just jot down this phone number for me real quick? Yeah, no, here. How about you just put your fingers in the way and I'll just slip the pen in there. How's that sound? Is that
Dip your nails in the inkwell.
So Tim, as somebody who works in the cell phone business now, how is it? Have you seen anybody come in and have to use a smartphone with long nails like that?
I have, dude, and it's the funniest fucking thing that you've ever seen in your life. This lady, I see her nails, they're like 3 inches long, and I'm like, so do you want to get this OtterBox? Because they're really fucking...
Great time for it to cut out.
Fill in Tim's blank.
Do you want to get this fucking OtterBox? Because they offer a lot of protection to your phone. Dude, this lady could not fucking hold this phone to save her goddamn life. And I had to sell her a stylus because she could not press the phone at all.
Are you recording yourself, Tim?
Of course I am.
So you're going to send me a complete audio file and we're just going to be laughing at nothing?
A complete audio file.
We haven't heard any of Jordan's perspective on this black talk.
So, Jordan, what are black people like in Ireland?
A
Like
lot
3
different.
of them in total.
No, you'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised, actually.
Isn't there a thing called Black Irish and they're white people?
I'm not too sure. I worked in a call center at one stage that was about, I would say, maybe 30% blacks. And over here, they seem very... they don't particularly care about the N-word usage that much. Like, they'll happily give out, passes, as it were. And just be like, man, just call me... And that was a bad accent, but they don't particularly seem to be...
Was that your black Irish accent?
It was an attempt.
Oi, my
Do it
man.
Hold on, now I've got way more pressure to try and do a good one.
What
See,
you
they're all
looking at,
actually-
governor?
No, you see, the issue is that they're actually from Africa, so they sound seriously thick. Like the accent is seriously thick.
Oi, governor.
Oh, are you trying to steal all me gold, little nigga?
Just curious, how Irish do I actually sound?
Pretty
You
damn
sound
Pretty Irish.
pretty damn Irish. Like,
Jordan, I didn't know that you were Irish at all, and I was just listening to your D&D character, and I thought that you never turned your accent off. I thought you were doing it through the whole in character and out of character.
Well, the funny thing about his D&D character is he added this like sort of, I don't know, it's like a farmy sort of little, it's like a southern twang that he added to his Irish accent, and it is fucking amazing.
But, Jordan, on a scale from 1 to Blarney, your Blarney is fuck.
Oh no! You guys should hear some of the other people. You should hear my friends. My God, I hate our accent.
question, Jordan.
Yes.
So I just renovated my house, and to kind of furnish it, I bought a bunch of Balik china. I don't know. Have you even heard of Balik?
I don't think so, no. But I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, things were looking up, and then it got real bleak.
Basically, what he's talking about is like over the top of his roof, he hung a stone off the side. He has to lean over and kiss.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I did not know what you were talking about, as it turns out. Yeah, go ahead. What about it anyway?
It's just really high quality, like craftsman made, handmade china, and lots of my family have it. Most of my father's family are Irish in heritage, so
gavel, 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 gavel. Tony left.
Anyway.
Would you like me to bless it, laddie?
Yes. But is it a
Say
Protestant
a little
or
prayer.
a Catholic blessing?
Whatever you want, baby. Technically, I suppose I would be on the Protestant side of things.
Protestant, yeah. I figured as much.
The funny thing to me about the Irish accent is it really does sound like somebody trying to do an accent. I remember I was watching the first Burn Notice and I was listening to Gabrielle Anwar and I was like, her accent is so bad. And then I looked it up and that was just how she talks. That's her normal way of talking. Sorry. Was that offensive?
No,
it just wasn't funny, Brian. God.
No one knows who Gabrielle Anwar is.
I was watching this TV show on USA that nobody else watches. Sorry, way too deep. I was watching this TV show on USA that nobody else watches. And this one chick that's on there, she's got an Irish accent. I'll tell you what, it was a real singer. So does anybody else have any other topics?
I don't know.
Tony
Am I
really
blessing?
bail?
He did indeed.
Oh, damn.
Where were you going with your China story?
Oh, I was just curious if it was a popular brand like in Ireland or if it was mostly an international thing, like international sales or not. That's all. But
I don't believe it's a big thing over here. I could be mistaken, but I personally haven't heard of it, no.
Oh, okay.
I have a random question. Is Guinness actually popular over there?
Yeah, very.
Oh, okay. So it's not like Foster's is for Australia, where they pretty much just send it to us and nobody there drinks it?
Well, there's a weird stereotype. I'm not the biggest fan of Guinness, but it does taste better down south than it does whenever it's exported.
Okay.
I have no idea why, but it definitely from the top down south where it's been, I think because there's way less transportation and it doesn't get shaken up or whatever, it does taste better. I've had Guinness when I was on holiday at an Irish pub before, and it was like piss water, I'm not gonna lie.
Fair enough.
Are you a whiskey man?
Yes.
You got some good whiskeys
Very
over there.
much so. We do indeed. So do the Scots. I'm more of a Scots whiskey myself, but
So
what type of whiskey
do they
do you
call those traders there? Is that what the word for it?
I don't know. I'm up north, so it's a wee bit more complicated. It's a wee bit.
Okay.
Am I sailing home or what's the crack?
Gotcha.
Do you guys have that saying? By the way, what's the crack?
Nope.
No?
That
Oh,
sounds
goodness.
like drugs.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the crack is like a really popular
That
way
sounds
of
like
saying.
that sounds like Wesley asking about drugs. Like, guys, it's been boggling my mind. What is the crack?
Yeah, in the United States, the crack is the thing that will get you a 20-year extra mandatory minimum sentence over cocaine.
The crack is probably the thing that won Wesley over to his electrician.
Baking soda! I got baking soda!
honest?
What's the deal with crack getting you 100 times greater sentence than cocaine?
Black people do it.
Racism.
Yeah. That's pretty much all it is, yeah.
So what's the difference between crack and cocaine?
Baking soda! I got baking
Yeah.
soda!
Literally mixed with baking soda and water.
And then
Yeah,
baked
and
in the
then
oven.
Yeah.
Into a rock, yeah.
It's a lot more profitable than the pure stuff is, apparently.
So it's
Or so
Yeah,
I've heard.
because they just cut it down. You
diluted?
can make a shitload of crack with a little bit of coke.
Yeah, it's a lot more diluted.
I was watching a documentary about Ireland, and it was focused on warring families.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. There's quite a lot of those.
It was really strange. It was like they inherit the hatred for the other family. It goes down through the generations.
It's the most cringe thing ever, to be honest with you.
And they actually legit fight. Like they'll go to fisticuffs over a family name.
Yeah, it's getting a lot better now, to be honest. It's actually quite funny. Well, not funny. It's a bit weird seeing mainland UK start to have all these terrorist issues when Northern Ireland has started to calm down whenever it comes to terrorist issues big time, and the sectarianism has kind of stopped. And then all of a sudden, the fucking people are getting run over at Westminster. So I can't really.
So
Go ahead.
I remember when I turned 21 and I had my first Irish car bomb, and thought that this is a funny little jokey name for something. And then later, because we don't learn world history here in America. I don't know about Brian because he was homeschooled, but in public school we don't learn world history here in America. And so when I first realized how ridiculous of a name the Irish car bomb actually is, I laughed really hard.
Yeah,
I was going to make a joke about how the a public school kid would probably jump to a retirement account, but then I remembered that public school kids won't know about those either. So
the other thing that I saw, I don't remember if it was the same documentary or if it was a different one, but I watched one about bare knuckle boxing, and that shit's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty much just fighting.
It's actually I've heard it's safer than regular fighting.
I think that would be mostly gypsies and stuff, travelers.
Oh.
Yeah, it's thankfully that's died off.
Have you guys never heard Joe Rogan talk about that? About how he wishes the UFC would go bare knuckle?
Why?
Yeah, because it reduces. You would have to focus more on having good form on your punches, because otherwise you would break your knuckles.
Oh.
Basically, because they have the gloves on, they can throw wild haymakers and stuff that, in reality, if you were to throw it in an actual fight, your metacarpals, essentially your knuckles would all shatter if you didn't hit it dead on straight. So you would have to throw a lot more technique into your punch, basically.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's the same thing where apparently rugby has less career-ending injuries than American football does.
Yeah, funny enough, that's a weird scenario. That was always touted over here. Like rugby has always bragged about having a much better record than American football for. Sorry, I call it American football. It's just habit. They have a much better track record for non-fatal injuries, but for normal injuries, rugby is 4 times more dangerous. For normal, just get tearing your ACL and stuff, way more common. But because they can't do. But because
to
NFL,
jump back to an earlier thing, it is smart to call it American football because international football is way different.
So is there a high rate of CTE
Baking
and stuff
soda.
like that?
I got baking soda.
Oh my gosh, this episode.
Yes, Wesley, there is a very high instance of CTE in rugby players because they don't wear helmets. So smaller impacts result in more injuries.
I see.
Do you guys like rugby at all there?
I don't know.
Some people do.
I don't think anybody really knows what it is.
All I know about rugby is that after the game, they just go on this insane pub run and they go from place to place and just get fucking hammered.
My high school had a rugby team.
Whoa.
Oh, that's pretty cool. The drinking culture in rugby is in no way exaggerated. I have never met a rugby player who wasn't an extreme alcoholic.
Good to know.
I played rugby for a few years myself.
How'd that go for you?
That was me hoping. That was me joking. Sorry at being an alcoholic, but it didn't quite.
Yeah, all I know is I would rather have the Clockwork Orange treatment and watch a rugby game, and then just watch any little amount of cricket. Cricket is by far the worst sport I've ever seen.
Do you guys consider golfing a sport?
No.
I mean, yes, but no.
Yeah, I do.
I personally don't, but I wouldn't strongly argue against it being called a sport.
It's a game, but it's not really athletic in nature. I mean, old men, really out of shape people play it.
But not at a high level.
You don't have to be an athlete.
The same can be said. The same can be said for baseball or a lot of other games. Like men's slow pitch softball is super common in a lot of cities across America, and that's not a high level. That doesn't make baseball not a sport.
I just got to point out how Wisconsin Tim sounded in that sentence there. It's like super common.
I think Wesley was getting at that you can compete at a high level at golf whenever you're older, because it's not
really
quite
though. It's not very common for people that are like, especially nowadays. The older you get, the less competitive you are. It's a young man's game now. The best golfers in the business are young.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't Tiger Woods like in his 40s?
Tiger Woods is nowhere near the best golfer in the world. Like he barely ever wins anymore.
No. I know, but but he's still. Did he not just have a huge comeback recently? Is he not like top 10 or something?
No, he took like second in a tournament, and it was the first time that he did that in a long time, and then basically has done nothing since.
Fair enough.
So
I don't really follow the out golf, so I was just throwing out a name there.
Yeah, no, I just one of my cousin's husband manages the golf course where we got the U.S. Open recently, and so he talks about it all the fucking time.
Even though it's outdoors in front of a relatively big audience, and it's on a course, golf to me seems similar to like playing pool.
Funny you mentioned that. Robin Williams has just about one of the funniest bits that has ever been recorded on the origin of golf, and it, like, in his bit, it stems from pool.
Oh.
And you need to get on YouTube like right after this episode and go and watch that, because it is fucking phenomenal.
I'll cue it up. So I was watching this. I came across this Google Assistant kind of. It was a demonstration, and I found it on CNET. They basically had Google Voice book a reservation at a restaurant, and it talked on the phone like it was a real person, and it answered questions from the waitress or the person booking the reservation, and it told how many how many people.
Yeah, I saw that too. They even programmed it to say
Yeah,
which I thought was fucking phenomenal.
They don't tell you. They just put the thing. They put the call on so you listen to it, and then afterwards they're like, by the way, that was a computer.
Yeah, that's called the Turing test, where if you can get an AI to speak to your human without the human recognizing it, they pass the test. Pretty sure it's called Google Duplex.
So my question was, where that's gonna go, and how it deals with things like if it goes to voicemail or has to answer, press 1 for such and such, press 2 for such and such. That kind of stuff.
Well, I think they'll most likely have to have a disclaimer at the start of the call saying that you're talking to a robot rather than talking to a person. But I think it could also be used for like malicious purposes, because it could be used as a distraction, if that makes sense. Like, you could call someone and think that have them distracted, thinking they're talking to a human for like 5-10 minutes while they're being robbed out the back or something.
Honestly, I'm way more terrified about. Have you seen the technology that has been coming out where they can basically
deepfakes?
Yeah, well, yeah. So like you could put Trump's face onto a dude in a wide tie, and you could make him say anything, like literally anything, and put it on the internet, and it looks super fucking real.
Do you know how that technology?
Well, part of that is because of Trump himself has just said anything and everything so often that there's just no like barrier to reality there.
True.
You could combine those technologies, because if you can't mimic the person's speech, it might not be convincing. But you could program a computer to mimic his speech.
Yeah, it's already done. They did it for Obama. You can. I can't remember what video it is, but if you Google the issue with deepfakes, there's a video on them getting Obama to spend like 5 minutes talking about stuff that he never talked about.
Tim, what is Jordan saying?
Deep fakes.
Oh, could you guys not understand me?
Deep what?
Deep fakes.
Fakes. Okay.
DEEP fakes. Deep fakes. It's like that deep dick. But fakes.
Deepafakis. Okay, got it.
Yes, sir.
Deepufaku.
Allahu Akbar.
It's gonna make it really.
Brian is gonna have some fun on the internet tonight.
It's gonna make it really hard for court proceedings and stuff.
Every once in a while, I can just hear Chris Riley drinking, and like,
yep,
the fucking
his swallow is almost like that tongue movement from that creepy girl in Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
We just have an ASMR podcast.
Wouldn't that be so bizarre if we did an ASMR episode and we were all whispering?
Oh my god, that would
just a whole episode of me swallowing.
You know what the only problem would be is that one of us would want to get a point across, and we would gradually start to get louder until eventually, God damn it, Brian, just let me say something.
No, that would be just you, Tim. You're the only one that does that.
Well, I'm just a naturally loud talker, and I don't think I could whisper for any longer than, like, probably not even a full sentence.
Full sentence.
Anytime I want to do an Irish accent, I try to do the black guy from Red Dwarf. Reading books.
That just sounded like Colin wait, is it his name Colin McGregor? Conor McGregor. I'm actually kind of drunk tonight. I don't feel very drunk, but it's definitely, coming through.
Yeah, when Colin Moriarty starts
speaking.
talking in his Irish accent.
Yeah. Greetings and salutations.
What's the fucking when I was a kid, somebody wrote out a couple of words phonetically, and if you say them like that, it sounds like you're saying something in an Irish accent, but I can't remember what the words are, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, like
Sure and Bagura.
Whale.
Is it whale oil beef hooked?
Oil beef.
Hooked. Yes, that's it. Yep.
Yeah. Because it's whale oil beef hooked.
Yep.
We shouldn't have told him. We should have tried to just get Wesley to say it.
Type it into the chat like, "Hey Wesley, I just want you to read this thing real quick. We're gonna type it out word by word."
Whale, oil, beef, hooked.
Now say it fast.
Whale, oil, beef, hooked.
Wow. Oh.
The fact that still just happened is wonderful. Oh man.